And then this other person who I've dated recently where I'm like, again, helping with a resume and cleaning his apartment. And like, I know. I'm just saying. Like,
that's really funny.
It's like I
would never do that.
Jenna, you are such a pain in the ass.
I think it's hilarious.
I don't even clean my own fucking apartment. I'm not cleaning yours. That's not happening.
I'm just saying.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Menage-A-Pod, the hysterical comedy podcast about sex, dating, relationships, and whatever else we feel like talking about. I'm your co-host TJ. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, friend, and podcast life partner, Jenna. What's up, girl?
Hi, man. How's it going?
It's going fucking spectacular. Look.
Wow. Fucking spectacular or just spectacular? Like, that's two very different things.
It's going fucking spectacular.
Wow.
I know, like, I'm stoked. I'm ready for this episode. I'm ready to record. I'm ready for the guest. I'm ready for all of the things. But I know we've both had busy weeks, so why don't we dive straight in? What's been going on with you?
I don't know, man. What is today? We're taping on a Wednesday?
We are taping on a Wednesday.
I don't know. It's been like 3 days in, and my week has been like a shit show of like, I don't know, fire drills. Anyway, outside of that, I don't know. Last night, guess what I did? I'm a little bummed.
What'd you do?
Jenny and I had our farewell dinner. And I'm not going to lie, at the end, I almost cried. She doesn't know because I pulled it together because I fucking play like a champion. However, I was very, very sad. So I'm really sad. For those of you that don't know, one of our favorite guests, everyone's favorite guest. Yeah. I don't know.
I would say, even though I know secretly she dislikes me, I do love her.
She does not.
Yes.
Stop it.
Jenny, if you're listening, I love you.
I love you too, Jenny. Anyway, I'm very bummed that she's leaving. She's moving back to New York, which, she's been wanting to do for a while. So she's super excited about it, but I'm selfishly not happy about this decision.
That's fair.
But anyway, so we were at dinner last night. We went to Maple and Ash, and it was so good. And we were sitting in the bar area and we were playing this game of like, are they a local or are they like a tourist? Right. So I don't know if you ever watched, did you ever watch Sex and the City?
Every episode all the way through. We talked about this in Josh's episode.
Okay. So I couldn't tell if you were serious or not. So remember the episode with the scrunchie?
Yes.
Where she was like, no real self-respecting New Yorker would wear a scrunchie.
For sure.
That's kind of how I felt, right? Because we would judge these people and be like, that person's not from here. And there was this woman who walked in with...
Scrunchies are back in style.
Well, yes, they are. But this woman walked in with like this super short... She must have been like in her 50s. Super short, like red sequencey dress and it was like long sleeves and it had the back cut out. And her shoes were like those platform gold heels.
Okay.
My first thought was she's a lady of the night for sure.
God love them.
Definitely an escort, right?
Did you get her contact information for me?
I did not. But she was there with like two other couples. And
two other couples or two other pimps and ladies of the night?
Who knows?
Okay.
TBD.
Maybe a John or two? Who knows?
Could be. Yeah. Totally. And so I was like, there's no fucking way those people are from here. Like, we don't dress like that here. Even in River North, we don't dress like that here. And then she's like, where do you think they're from? And I was like, I'm guessing the South. There was a lot of hair, a lot of makeup. I guess Dallas. And they walked by, wouldn't you know it, on the way out, and they have like a little Southern twang. And I was like, I knew it. Or Georgia. One of them. Like one of the Southern places with like all the hair and the makeup.
Not to alienate any of our potential listeners. Georgia, Texas, same fucking
you know how
diff.
I feel about Georgia. It's like I got married there.
You did.
I love Georgia.
Georgia on my mind.
Yeah. So
Ray
great
Charles,
song.
Right?
Yes. Anyway, so we did that, which was fun. And then, of course, the night had to end at some point.
I'm very sad.
I had to go home and cry.
All these dinners that you and Jenny have gone on in the last year, and I've gone to like one of them.
I'm sorry.
It's heartbreaking.
It messes up the vibe when you throw a dude in the mix.
Oh, whatever.
You know?
Daniel's been at several of these.
He's been at like one.
Whatever.
Anyway.
It's where you learn where you stand, guys.
Oh, stop it.
I'm just kidding.
Anyway, so that happened. I'm still licking the wounds. She hasn't left yet, but soon.
Wait, is that a euphemism for something?
Nope, definitely not.
I thought you meant
that kind
like
of friendship.
you and Jenny were licking
not
each other's wounds.
Not that kind of friendship. No. You're disgusting. The other thing was I've been meeting a lot of people lately who have just gotten out of relationships.
Okay.
Like online, and they're online. It's driving me crazy.
Why does that drive you crazy?
Well, I think it's because it makes me feel like they're looking for something different than I'm looking for. So two people actually just got out of like 8 or 9 year relationships. And now all of a sudden they're out there dating. And I think they broke up in maybe like December, both of them. So that's weird timing. But I find that everyone always breaks up around the holidays. It's just bad. It's bad news. Anyway.
It's a good way to avoid buying presents. I fully support it.
Totally. And traveling and dealing with family drama. I totally get it. But anyway, I don't know why I keep running into those people. Two dates that I've had.
Oh my goodness. That's almost a trend. 2.
That's what I'm saying. Well, it's not like I've been out on a ton of dates. So yeah, I mean like maybe 3. I haven't. I don't have the time lately. But let's say out of 3 dates, 2 of them, those are not good odds. 2 of them have been
that's fair.
Like recently out of relationships.
But that also, I mean, I think you and I are in different places with how we look at that. Like, I personally don't see that as a particular problem necessarily.
I see it as a rebound.
It certainly can be that,
Yeah.
but who knows? I mean, I know from my personal experience, there have been relationships that I've been in that when they've ended, I was like emotionally done with them several months earlier.
Yeah,
so
true.
maybe they're really prepared to be with someone new.
True. That's true. And I feel like, what I just don't want to happen is I know what it was like after, the divorce or whatever. So it's like, I know. Go ahead.
Whenever you say the divorce,
I know. I
feel like we should have a thing go
Keep
dun dun dun.
I could see your mouth getting ready to say something sassy. Anyway, it just sort of reminds me of like how the headspace I was in then. And I was not looking for anything long term. I just wanted to hang out. But yet these guys both were like, no, I'm like looking for a relationship. I'm ready. And I'm thinking, I don't know. Are you? I mean, maybe you're totally right. And I know not everyone is me. We've discussed this.
We're going to rename this podcast Shifting Perspectives with TJ and Jenna.
Maybe. Or like Jenna thinks she's always right.
It's just you saying stuff and me and a random guest trying to like convince you otherwise.
I don't know, but it's good to hear your perspective on it because like I kind of walked away and I was kind of bummed. I was like, man, go figure.
Yeah, I mean, I would look at it as potentially problematic, but by itself, I think it's more red flag than deal breaker.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
But it is a red flag.
Yeah, I mean, it's something to take note of, but
Sure.
how you classify, maybe it's a yellow flag.
Yeah, it could be a yellow flag.
Yeah, it's like, slow down, bro.
Yeah, it could be.
You might have a brick wall around this corner if you don't play cards right.
Totally. So anyway, that's really all I've got. It's only Wednesday.
It's only Wednesday. I know there's still plenty of trouble left to get into. Honestly, since the last time we've recorded, I've done all of the things.
I mean, you're just like a social butterfly now.
I mean, I've always kind of been like that, but lately with all the free time I've been having. So this is kind of funny. I was on a waiting list to buy season tickets for the Bulls. They suck right now. So I was kind of like, holding pattern on that. But they reached out.
That's basketball, right?
Yeah. Well, they reached out and were like, hey, we want to like host you and give you like the season ticket experience.
That's cool.
So we'll host you for like a pregame, like happy hour from 4 to 6. We'll give you 2 tickets and all you can eat, all you can drink. So I get in this like VIP lounge with a friend that I take, and the appetizers to pass are literally like a bowl of potato chips and a bowl of like Chex Mix.
Stop it.
Yes. And I mean, there is like wine and beer and some hard liquor and like soda and whatever. I mean, that was fine. It was nice, and got to meet Tony Kukoc, which was cool. But as you would expect, there was a sales pitch. They're like trying to get you to buy season tickets. So this young dude who'd called me like 5 times the last couple of weeks, like finally comes over and like sits at my table and gives me like the hard pitch. And if you've ever sat through a sales pitch, there's always like the first,
yes, I give them every day.
Exactly. But I mean more in like say a timeshare.
Totally.
Or like where like you listen to the pitch, you always say no. And they're like, okay, cool, no big deal.
Yeah.
But then 5 minutes later, they come with another pitch. And then if you say no to that pitch, then there's like the closer. And then the closer comes in and gives you a pitch. And then if you can finally get the closer to leave you alone and you think you're like home free and you're like walking out the door, then the super secret closer like jumps out at you.
Wow.
That was my experience at this Bulls game. So this dude came over to my table. First his boss did, like introduced himself, and I laid the groundwork early. I was just like, man, you should know I'm currently unemployed, so I'm probably not buying these tickets. Like from jump, like I took a severance package, but I'm probably not going to buy these tickets. And he's like, oh, well, who'd you talk to? And I told him the guy I was working with. And he's like, oh, well, I'm his boss, so he'll come in and talk to you. And I'm like, oh, okay. So you're the closer. You're not the super secret closer. There's someone else I got to worry about. So this dude comes, gives me his pitch. I like tell him I'm not interested or whatever, or at least I'll think about it. So I go into the game. I sneak out before they see us leaving. We've made friends with this couple, and I've plotted out our way out of this room without them being able to like stop us so we can get to our seats. So we do that. I'm in my seats. All of a sudden, the emails start coming in. Hey,
emails while you're there.
Hey, TJ, during halftime, can you come back in that room so we can talk? And I'm like flipping my phone on Do Not Disturb. So then I finally get through the whole game. They've blown up my phone. Dude like tries to catch me. I pull my hat down. I like dart past him to get out of the building. He's called me like 6 times since Sunday.
Wow.
So apparently the Bulls tickets, they really want to sell you that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal. So beyond that, going out a ton, actually really exciting. This was fun. Last Friday, I went out to dinner with Andrea, friend of the pod, Andrea Rappaport, and then Sam Esposito, the girl who runs the social media account on Instagram, Chicago Burger Bible. So we went to Somerset, one of the best burgers in Chicago.
I love that place.
Yeah,
they have a great old fashioned.
They do, and if anyone out there doesn't know what it is, it's in I believe is that Gold Coast? I think it is Gold Coast. Yeah, neighborhood in Chicago, and it's in the Viceroy Hotel.
It's right around the corner from Maple and Ash.
Exactly, yeah. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. It was fantastic, and you also make sure you want to follow Chicago Burger Bible. We're thinking about having her on for an episode so we can come up with like cool restaurant date ideas and things like that.
Oh, that's fun.
And then on that, my last piece of things I want to talk about are kind of like 2 little baby things. On that day, I did a shoot for my photography business with Andrea beforehand. And while I was there...
You did another... Oh, Andrea.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Andrea Rappaport, yeah. So
didn't you already do a shoot?
Sure, yeah. People who do like influencer and content creation, they tend to need like a fairly large log of images.
Cool.
So they'll do like monthly shoots.
She's a good find, a good friend find too.
Yeah, she's incredible. I love her.
Yeah.
So I'm doing that, but as we're walking through down in Chicago, I see this like band of street musicians like busking on the corner. There's like a guitar player, a bass player, a drummer, a guy playing the vibraphone, which I don't know if you're familiar. It's basically a large xylophone.
Oh.
And so I just started, I was like, hey guys, you mind if I take some pictures? And they were cool with it. So I was just snapping some pictures. Posted one on Facebook that I edited and processed. Within like 2 hours, I had like 8 people send me DMs asking if they could buy prints of it. So super stoked about that. And then those guys found me on social media, and now I'm going to be taking some photos for their website.
Cool. Look at you rocking and rolling over there.
I know. It's
you
good.
may never need a corporate job again.
Hey, if anybody out there has a corporate job and they want to hire me, you know where to find me.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. I, for one, am loving this phase in your life.
Yes. So I haven't really said this to anyone, but we've joked about it. My company that I worked for was restructured, and I turned down a relocation, and so I took a buyout, and I'm unemployed.
Thing you did.
Yeah, and kind of crazy. As we sit here right now, we just found out this afternoon there was a shooting at Molson Coors campus in Milwaukee, and that is the company I spent the last like 6 years working for. At least 7 dead, including the shooter. So that's kind of still developing right now.
Yeah, scary. Good thing you didn't move there.
Yeah, good thing. Thank God for that.
Seriously.
And then final piece of news. This is kind of an interesting thing. And by interesting, I just mean it's cool because I like it.
Is it me?
I love you.
Okay, just checking.
No, I love you. You're the best. But
Thanks, man.
the only thing I love more than you is I love getting new listeners.
Yeah, same.
When new people kind of come into the fold, and you know, nothing is better for our downloads and for the growth of our show than having people really like it and then evangelizing for it, like going on their social medias and telling their friends. And we have a new listener. Her name is Ashley. She's from Florida.
Ashley.
Her and her best friend Monica, they're awesome. Ashley's been binging in the last couple of days. Reached out on social media. She's a super big fan. What I think is cool that we have happen a lot is people listen to the episodes and they'll get through like 3 or 4. And if they're like bought in, they start reaching out with like questions about the episodes and about the stories and wanting more details. And that's like flattering, and I love it. And it's cool to see like the reach and growth of the show.
Totally. I love it.
So thanks, Ashley and Monica. Keep listening. Keep telling all your friends.
Yeah. I mean, I love to have a presence in Florida that's not my mom. Just kidding. She doesn't listen.
It's probably for the best.
It's totally for the best. Are you kidding?
I still want to be in the middle of that senior meat sandwich.
I know
with
you
Helen
do.
Mirren
That
and
alone is like good reason for her not to listen.
Senior meat.
Just all of the times that you talk about her. Like she's some sex object.
The things that I would do to your mother.
I know. We know. Don't tell me again. I can't. I might throw up in my mouth.
Oh. I'm like all over the place, and I never have anything to talk about in these episodes, and today I'm like jam packed. I went to Little Bad Wolf last night, which I've been really excited to try for a while.
No, you have. That was the first time?
First time, yeah.
And
it's
hey,
funny.
how'd you find out about that place?
Well, funny story, not from you.
Oh, no?
No.
Oh.
If you remember, I suggested it to you, and you said that Joe didn't like it. And that was you were going off of.
Incorrect statement. If memory serves, I said when we were chilling, I was like, we should go to this restaurant that I found. 100%. I found it because I was looking for new places to take clients. I sent it to you. And then later, like months later, I said Joe went and he didn't like it because you had said you were going to take a date there. That's like par for the course of our whole friendship.
So we should be cutting back in right now from the last 30 seconds, which I've edited out.
I feel like you could thank me for a lot of places
you
that
beat this,
you go out
You beat
to.
this dead horse.
It's not.
The reality is I am a man about town.
If they could see the look on your face right now, the smirk.
It's no smirk. It's a look of pride and surety, cocksure, irrational confidence.
Is that what it is?
Yes.
Or you just know that I'm speaking the truth.
Well, maybe. But so I go to Little Bad Wolf last night. I try. They're known as one of the best burgers in the city. And on Sam from Chicago Burger Bible's recommendation, she said it's her favorite burger. Went there, checked it out. The burger was like incredible, but had the weirdest fucking waiter I've ever had in my life.
Oh, I don't know if we should tell this story because what if we want them to sponsor us?
Well, and even me saying weirdest waiter, that's saying something. I don't know if you guys remember last year's Valentine's Day episode when I was talking about the waiter at GT who asked me if I wanted a BJ for a box job. You're garbage. You're garbage, waiter. If you're listening right now, you're garbage.
Fair,
that's not what you meant. So it's a pretty low bar. That dude was horrible. This guy was he would like linger over my shoulder. My food came out. I was like talking to my friend who I was out with, and he comes back and he literally like leans over my plate to put himself between me and the plate and just goes, "Wonderful, excellent," and waves his hand across my plate. Weird. Oh, the whole thing, it was fucking bizarre.
And he's like, for my next trick. That's what that reminds you of.
Yeah.
He's like a little magician.
Before I got there, my friend who I was meeting texted me and was like, "Hey, heads up, our waiter is definitely on drugs."
Yeah, that place is good though, because I didn't have the burger. I think I might have had I don't remember, but I had tacos maybe.
Tacos, bows, burgers. Those are their three big things.
Yeah, tacos. And then, but they did have a good bourbon selection. I think they're known, right, for their bourbon selection.
They're known for their cocktail menu, and they're also known for their old fashioned.
Yeah, they did have a good old fashioned.
All right, guys, you know what time it is? It's time to talk merch. Jenna, take it.
Yeah, man. Guys, we really, really, really want you to go to teespring.com/ forward slash stores. Let me start that over. Guys, we really, really, really want you to go to teespring.com / stores / Menage-A-Podcast. Got it that time.
Got it.
Nailed it. To pick up a piece of our official merch featuring our bubble logo. The women's V-necks for $25.99 and the unisex comforter tee for $24.99 are the best sellers. Wait, do we? I know we have hoodies, but do we have like a zip-up hoodie?
We don't, but I can add that.
Yeah, because that would be great. Can you please get on that? So we don't have zip-up hoodies, but we have regular hoodies, stickers, and other official Menage-A-Pod merchandise. So check that out at teespring.com / stores / Menage-A-Podcast. If you buy merch and send us a screenshot on Instagram at Menage-A-Podcast or email us at menagepod3@gmail.com, we will give you a shout out during the episode. What?
Yeah.
I mean, like that's all we're going to give you? We're not gonna like take you to dinner. I feel like we should choose something bigger.
I'll probably edit this out, but that's a pretty common offer.
I know.
And that's definitely
I know, that's what they all do.
Yeah. So make sure you're doing that, guys. Buy the merch, send us a screenshot. We'll give you a shout out. If you buy enough merch, and
maybe we will take you to dinner.
Yeah,
if you buy if you spend over, what do we say? Let's say it. I'll do it. Fuck it. If you spend over $100 in merch, we'll take you to dinner. We'll take you for a drink.
Okay, that's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah, we should do a thing. Wait, guys, give us some feedback on this. Get in our DMs at Menage-A-Podcast on Instagram. We could do a thing where each month, every person who's bought at least $20 worth of merch gets an invite to like a night where we all we go meet up for a drink or something.
I'm going to need you to raise that price because $20 is nothing.
Right. Okay, for
$100.
Well, yeah, but that's who's going to spend $100.
Well,
We'll
I
never
don't
have
know.
that.
All right, fine. Well, I'm saying that's the point.
Jen's like, I don't want to meet these fuckers.
No, I want to meet you guys, but like, you know, I don't want to get murdered. I feel like $20 is a low bar. If someone might murder us, I'd rather it be at the $100 rate.
If we do Patreon, those should be our tiers. It's like at $20, you get a shirt. At $50, you get a shout out, and we include an audio clip of a question you ask. At $100, you get to lure us into your murder basement.
Absolutely not. No murder basements, guys. Seriously.
Can I? Yeah, no murder basements.
No. Why did you even have to think about that one?
All right, awesome. Well, Jenna, I think now would be as good a time as any to introduce today's guest.
I'm so excited I get to do it today.
It's all you, girl.
It like never happens. Okay, so today's guest is Lindsey Shaw. So her Instagram bio actually made me laugh really hard. This is what it says. She's a writer, comedian, actor, selfie enthusiast, nature hussy. I mean... Not me. I would say same, but like not me. I don't like nature. Mildly pigeon-toed, megabus contortionist, volunteer, and seltzer addict, as well as one of the funniest people we know. That part we added in. And you can find her performing at shows all across Chicagoland. So with no further ado, Lindsey, welcome to the show.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me. I've heard such great things about your show. Aww. So I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said.
I doubt that.
You are immediately our favorite guest.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
I don't even want to like ask you questions and talk about you. I just want you to tell us how good we are. Can you do that some more?
Oh, I like that
You
idea.
guys have great artwork.
Oh, thanks.
Great setup here right now. Great
Thanks.
equipment.
Thank you.
What do you think of the vagina on the wall behind
Come
you?
on now. It's not a
I
vagina.
know. It just... You're such a boy.
Men.
Men.
Like never, ever, ever do the women come in and say that. I feel like it's only
A couple
the men.
have.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Wait, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Megabus?
Okay, so this is telling of my age. When I wrote that, I was just trying to be tongue in cheek.
Mm-hmm.
I guess your Instagram bio is supposed to kind of be a snapshot and summary of what your whole feed is.
Oh.
And I'm not.
Oh, I didn't
is
know
it?
that.
Are we all in our 30s? Okay, good. No, I really do think it. So I cover that with like, you know, comedian, actor, air quotes, writer, you know, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I obviously like post pictures of me on stage and with a microphone. So that's
all you really need to
I'm
do to
not
be a comedian.
Oh yeah, I don't actually tell jokes and go on stage. I just pose with a mic. You take one of me after this. With
Yeah.
this mic.
We'll do.
Yeah, but no. So I really do think that the whole bio thing is supposed to elicit and give like a preview when someone opens your Instagram and they read that. It's a preview of what your feed is and what your photos reflect. And I'm not taking pictures of me being mildly pigeon-toed. Or I mean,
But if you want to, I am a photographer and I'd be more than willing to document that for you.
we could work that out and like change my brand. So yeah, I wrote that. I mean, I'm like, I should change it and like really be like, you know,
You could
savvy,
be
but
you could be an icon
I leave it.
for all the pigeon-toed girls out there.
I'm like slightly pigeon-toed though.
Slightly.
It's not
Slightly. An icon for the
Mildly,
slightly.
I believe, was the word.
Yes.
Well, let me tell you something. I hate the megabus. I have
yes,
like
I
a
despise it.
I dated a guy for a long time.
And he lived on the megabus.
Yes. How did you know? Underneath,
feeling.
How was
in
the rent?
Underneath in the like, you know, luggage.
Yeah.
No, he lived in Madison, and so we were doing long distance. Surprise!
It's your favorite thing.
It's my favorite.
You love LDRs.
I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. And anyway, so I don't have a car. So it was the
Same.
only way to get back
Same.
and forth. And I was like in my 20s, so I didn't have any money. And I took the megabus.
Yeah.
And one day I was
I
so
can only imagine.
hungover from our Christmas party, the night before our company Christmas party, that I actually got sick on the megabus. Okay. Sitting on the megabus is bad enough. Getting sick in that bathroom.
No.
Oh my God.
no, you poor
I
thing.
died. And then I walk outside
Probably
and there's
PTSD.
oh my gosh, there was a guy sitting next to the bathroom, like in the back row.
Yeah.
And he just looked at me, he's like, "You okay?" Because there's no way to be quiet. You're like vomiting in the megabus. It's not like, I know, it was mortifying.
It's such an
And I-
uncomfortable thing to begin with. And then
Oh
like
my
you
God.
said,
I was dying. And I looked at him and I was like, yeah, pregnant. Definitely not pregnant. I was just hungover and felt like an asshole. And I was like,
It was yet
Totally
another
pregnant.
of Jenna's unwanted pregnancies.
it was terrible.
I've
That's like
never-
the only memory I have of a megabus.
I've
I know.
never puked on a megabus. I've wanted to I've been homicidal, suicidal. I've definitely had really bad megabus moments. Now, for whatever reason, I'm like,
That should be the name of your first
Digressing.
comedy album, Megabus Moments.
that is actually a
Not
really
bad.
good idea. I've even like regressed even more in life, and I take Greyhound.
No,
more.
that's even worse.
No shit. And I've had someone next to
people
me
on the Greyhound
Well,
bus.
I mean, I'm not above anything, right? But then I get on there, I'm like, ugh, I'm like such a bitch, and I'm like so snobby, and I'm like, don't sit next to me, don't breathe, don't look at me. Like, but someone next to me once had a seizure.
Oh,
A withdrawal seizure. I've been pulled over by the police. The whole vehicle's been pulled over by the guy. But I love it on the Greyhound because they're like, there's no smoking, there's no drinking, there's no. If there is no smoking crack, there is no drug use. If you get too loud, if you're too loud on your phone, we will pull over and I will call the cops. Like Greyhound is county jail on wheels.
It is.
I
which
feel like
I kind of appreciate.
all of society should have that phone rule. Seriously.
Yes.
I was in.
Oh my God. I so agree.
I was in Subway. We are so off topic. We'll get back on in a second. But I was in Subway yesterday. Only one other person in the entire restaurant. He's probably like 20 feet away from me, and he's watching YouTube videos at maximum volume. And this wasn't like I'm going to quickly, like a friend sent me something funny. I'm going to look at it for 5 seconds. He watched like 10 minutes of
like,
videos.
If you can't afford,
that would drive me crazy.
If you can't afford headphones or you forgot them, fine, but just wait.
Wait.
Like people, especially in the city, do not. I feel like so often people forget about where they are, and they have no spatial. They're not spatially conscientious, or they're not respectful of people. I cannot. Like, I'm a loud person. I don't even need this mic. It's one of the only things we're like doing a podcast. But I never. If anyone calls me and I'm on public transit, I decline the call and text, I'm on the bus or I'm on the train.
Totally.
I am not getting on the phone on public transit.
Yeah.
I know I'll get loud. I know I'll start to annoy myself, and I hate when other people do it.
Yeah. Public transit. What's that?
Well,
People take that. I don't. I literally haven't gotten on a train or a bus here
Bougie.
She is
I
so
love you.
bougie.
since
I
Uber
love
came
it.
out. I was like, it's not happening again.
Oh, you're my new idol.
She's not. You want to push her downstairs. So do
No,
I.
I don't. I love it.
All right. Well, why don't we get a little bit back on topic?
Okay.
So as you know, this is a podcast about dating, relationships, and all the things that go into that. So that's usually what we try to talk to our guests about. So with that in mind,
Shit, I came here to talk about food.
I know.
It's
I know.
awkward. This is super awkward.
So awkward. But
Pick
with,
it up. I'm like, never mind.
but with that in mind, why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Like, are you single? Are you married? Where are you from?
Definitely single.
Okay.
Never been married.
Good for you.
Smart decision. Keep
Yeah.
that one riding as long
Never
as you can.
been married. No kids. Single. And I'm not. I'm not like actively with anyone.
Okay.
That sounds so weird. Like the
Are you
batteries ran
passively
out.
with someone?
Yeah.
You're like, I'm in a really intense relationship, but he's just
They're
unaware of
charging
it.
at home. I'm not with them right now. No, I am on dating apps.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Because we matched.
We did. So,
I don't know if I knew this story.
so funny story.
Funny, so did we. That's apparently his MO.
Oh, cute.
Yeah.
Okay, before we assassinate my character in yet again another episode, I just
You
want
make it so easy.
I do.
But we were friends on Facebook before that.
We were. So as the podcast has grown over the last year, I've definitely friended a lot of Chicago area comedians and content creators, and just for the purposes of
I
like,
friended you.
I think you did, yes. But I've done. I think the reason why I popped up is because we started to have a lot of friends in common.
Yes.
So
Yes.
after we became friends, we started like talking about coming on the podcast, and that just sort of fell by the wayside.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the last time I was on Bumble, maybe a month and a half ago, I think. About we matched, and her lead message was like something about why I hadn't had her on the podcast yet.
I'm very persistent.
Yeah.
Good for you.
I'm like right to business. I'm like, hi, yeah, why am I not in your pocket? No, but
I mean, you picked the better option there. You saved yourself a lot of heartache
what do you mean?
by
Being
picking
in
the
the podcast
podcast
and not
instead of
going on a
dating.
date with me. Yeah.
Love you, buddy.
There's a lot of people out there that can probably agree with that
I'm
statement.
just staying.
Hey, you never texted again.
I'm literally the worst. No, so we know you're on Bumble since that's where we matched. You're the worst. You guys both
is
suck.
so
You have your little.
funny. Tag team.
I know.
Not like that. All our clothes are on.
It's an exclusive group of only a handful of our previous and future guests that I've matched with on Bumble. So
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I can't with you.
we met on Bumble. We went on one date.
Oh, like, stop it.
Yeah, that's how this podcast
Yeah,
started.
that's our
Literally.
origin story.
I love that so much.
And she used to write a dating column for Huffington Post, and so her friend like suggested this podcast, and
Hold on. You're not going to skip over it that easily.
Yada, yada,
Not
yada,
with
yada,
me-
yada.
Not with me. Yeah, you did. Not with me drinking wine. So you guys had that date. Like, how did you go from like we went on a date to let's just be friends?
The leading up to the first date was literally like we'd matched probably 15 times and started and stopped texting so many times over many months.
You didn't rematch. You mean you would text and then stop
No,
texting?
rematched.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because every time I'm on and off Bumble, I literally delete it.
Oh, okay.
Not just the app, I delete the account.
Damn.
It's
I've done that before too.
It's the best thing to do. And
I've
I
done
just
it.
found out that it's actually against their terms of service.
Why?
Because I learned that it's boosts you to the head of the algorithm and you will always be seen first, like always. So
If you delete and restart?
yeah. So I do that I'm such a piece of shit. I do that every couple weeks.
Yeah.
When I'm on there, it's usually a cycle of every like 2 weeks we're restarting the Bumble.
No wonder you disappeared. Okay, I'm kidding. No, so tell me how you went
is
from
so
the
funny.
date, whatever, to let's just be friends.
The way it really happened was we talked a lot on and off. He's right before. Then we had our date and then
Got hammered, had fun,
got hammered,
right?
had a great
Yeah.
time. And then we got along really well, I think. And
Yeah, we always did.
it was one of those things where like, well, if I'm being honest, he wasn't that nice to me. Yeah, he wasn't that nice. And so I know I had a lot. That's why he's a lot of enemies of my friends. So when like
But I've
we
won them
started the,
over
when
the-
we started
yeah.
this podcast,
You
everyone's
guys,
like,
this
"What
is
the
so
fuck?"
amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
to go from whatever sort of still you're not. So what do you
Yeah,
mean?
so-
Like, did he not return
like
texts?
no. Like
I
he was
would-
dating a lot of girls at the same time. You know, like his any like guy, right? Who's dating multiple people at once. So
This is a teepee for my secrets.
Oh my god.
he like one day was like, "Hey, listen, I want you in my life. I think that like we have like a connection here. It's just friends though. So like let's stay friends." And at first I was like, I don't think so.
Right.
But then, you know, he's charming and adorable. Look at that face.
He's
so
adorable.
I
He's
know.
adorable,
So he
and
kind
he's
of like
obviously,
worms
like,
his way in there and he
he's-
just gets
yeah.
you. And I was like, fine. You know, he wore
He's
me
a
down.
Casanova on the
Yeah,
old
it wore me
Bumble.
down. And then I don't know, like, but it was funny because like when we were hanging out, I had said to him like, "Hey, my friend has this idea for a podcast. She works
cool.
at WGN. She wants to pitch it. It was too raunchy, I think, for WGN. So I was telling him, and it was all like happening as we were hanging out. And so I was like, I don't know. And he's like, oh my gosh, we should be co-hosts. And I was like, I don't even know where this is going to go. Like, I probably will never talk to you again. And then we stayed friends. And so then I was
And
like,
what
maybe a
cool
good idea.
because it's you two
And
Menage
one other
a Pod.
person.
I
Yeah.
love all of it.
Yeah. So, and now we're just good friends. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been a roller coaster
And we-
in the beginning. But
How long have you guys been recording?
So we started recording in October of 2018. We released our first episodes December 11th. It's crazy. Like we have listeners in 66 countries. We have,
Isn't that cool?
we've like been in the top 100s of the iTunes charts on a couple of occasions. We've stayed in the top like 200 of the comedy charts.
So what you're saying is this is going to be my launch.
Yeah,
Like once this,
well, I mean, we-
Totally.
once
we
this airs, I'm going to
Totally.
be picked up by
you will
someone.
be listened to by a lot of like 30 something moms. We have a lot of them, and we have a lot of like
Do they book for Comedy Central? No, I'm kidding.
they might.
Anyway.
All right. Well, that's our origin story.
I love it. I think it's great.
I think it's great too. But what I think is so nice about it is that like here's a silver lining, right? Is that like you know, women who are out there dating, you just kind of never know what's going to happen, right?
Right.
So like I think you look at each date like we're such a good case study for that, right? Like you can look at each date as like who knows what can happen. It may not end a relationship, but who knows what would come out of it, you know? So I think
But
that's
I don't
the
think a
silver
lot of
lining.
I don't think a lot of people go into it with that attitude. You might like develop that attitude. You might evolve into that.
Yeah.
But I think a lot. I mean, okay. Segue. Wait, what were you going to say before?
It was going back to the outline,
You
so we
know,
get ready to talk about Lindsey, our
even
guest.
after that, like we could still be friends. You know, I hated him for a while, but
Well, you know what? I
It's
think honestly, to go from that kind of confusion and some drama and whatever, and mixed feelings, into end up here where you are,
Totally.
friends, producing
Totally.
together, and
because I'm a bigger person.
that's incredible. I'm just kidding. Jenna's like, it's all me.
Yeah, because I'm the one who had to like get over that. But yeah.
No, but I think you both come to a compromise, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In any relationship, whether it's platonic or romantic, you compromise, you understand, you know.
You should be hosting this podcast.
I should.
Yeah.
And no, I think
might
it's
be in
really
the market
cool.
for a new
I think it's-
co-host, so.
Hey.
I think it's great, you guys.
All right. Well, that's great that we know our origin story. Now, the purpose that we had here is to talk to you. You know, we talked just a little bit ago about how funny it was that you and I had matched on Bumble. Mm-hmm. What would you say is your overall feeling about dating apps in general? Like, where do you stand on them?
This is layered because
Peel back the onion here, Lindsay.
I've been on I first got on Tinder in 2013 when I was living in New York.
So you're like an OG.
I'm an OG. I mean, I might be a co-founder and I just don't know about it. Like, where are my residuals? But I had just moved to New York and I was like, you try to like, I just want to meet people and like see who's out there because I don't know anyone here.
Totally.
But I got on OkCupid.
Oh.
We're talking 13. This,
okay.
All
right.
7 years ago.
Yeah.
So I get on OkCupid and like Bumble didn't exist. Tinder was brand new at the time.
Right.
Well, not brand new, but it was
even just starting to blow up a little bit.
Just starting to get popular, right? Go on there. And literally it followed the theme of my New York life, which was just transient, gypsy, hooker. I mean, I didn't get paid.
Oh my God. I never watch that show.
I never got doesn't that sound
great.
like
Transient, gypsy, hooker.
Yeah.
I love it.
Why don't you have that in your Instagram bio, Lindsay?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. We just solved it.
On a megabus.
If
Yeah,
you do
100%.
not have that in there by tomorrow, you're dead to me. Dead to me.
That's really funny.
I was not an actual hooker in New York. That's another story and podcast. But I did try to be an escort. Whatever, wasn't successful.
What? No, that's this podcast. We're going to talk about.
Well, yeah. So anyway, but I like all that the dating app led to, or the dating app activity led to, were like hookups, and not even that many through Tinder. I probably only met like one or not, maybe not even like just one dude. Literally in New York, I was meeting people out and about. It was all IRL type activity.
Weird. I don't remember what that's like.
Vintage, right?
Yeah.
No, neither do I. So that was the start of Tinder. I moved back to Chicago eventually, like a year later, and was still on it. And so I went to Michigan. I left New York, went to Michigan to retreat after not horrible, but like taxing experience in New York. So I'm on Tinder at home in the Detroit area. Go out on a date with this guy. Go on another date. We hook up. I think he gave me meningitis. I got really, really sick. It could have been hooking up with him or like eating food off at a restaurant where I worked. One of the two.
That's a wide spectrum of possible outcomes.
Yeah.
You were like, it was either
like,
a bad
or when
sandwich or a bad dick. One of the two.
Or when you licked the floor of the megabus.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could happen.
When you licked the floor of the megabus.
I just don't know.
If you're going to get meningitis anywhere, the megabus floor, that's definitely where you got it from.
100%.
Or this guy's mouth.
Yeah.
So I got really sick. Anyway, but I had gone on anyway, moved back to Chicago. And I'm back on Tinder. Because I would go on and off. Not like deleting it, but just like active, not active. And I met the guy I ended up dating on and off for 2 years. So Michael and I dated, and he's like, this kid who lives at home, and he's like a soccer coach, air quotes, doesn't have a job. He's like, well, if I'm going to...
Soccer coach for like Little League?
Who knows? I don't even know. That was code for unemployed.
Oh, okay.
And
that's weird. I'm a soccer coach too.
Well,
plum.
You seem paid. So he's like, oh, if I'm going to start dating you, I guess I should get a job so we can do things. I'm like, what a concept. Yes. So yeah, he was just the poor thing. He went to art school and wasn't doing anything with that and didn't know what he wanted to do. So here's me. Oh, I'll be your mom and your nurturer.
Oh, totally.
I'll put your resume together. You want to be a chef? I've worked in restaurants. You know what I mean? So I like, you're welcome, Michael, if you're listening. Like I pushed him into the restaurant industry, became a chef not chef, but like.
You should have pushed him in front of a megabus.
I thought about it a couple times.
Do you think Megabus will sponsor us now?
I hope so.
This human splatter is brought to you by Megabus.
I love it. But yeah, so that was kind of, so what I'm getting at is my experience on the dating apps is
You found someone.
Well, you can call it that. I mean, we dated, and I say on and off because I would call it off. I would call it quits. And then we would get back, and then we would talk again. We wouldn't talk for a couple weeks. Then we would talk again. And it was just up and down, up and down. It was like steady dating for 6 months. And then after 6 months, it was up and down for another year and a half. Mostly because we just wanted to keep hooking up. But
As you do.
that was just like really hard to let go of.
I feel like you're really
with him.
speaking to me right now.
I mean, it was really,
Sigh.
sometimes, there's someone, and you guys know this, there's someone you have like intense physical chemistry with who you can't seriously date.
Yeah.
And that was Michael. I mean, and I cared about him, obviously. We cared for each other, but we weren't going to be in a long-term serious relationship.
Right.
And I knew that like a month or two in.
Yeah.
But then you hang on because, the dick is good. But
It happens to the best of us.
oh my
Yeah,
God,
it
it
does.
was great. But then we finally like cut it off. My point is, generally though, with dudes on the apps, my experience has been, with the exception of Michael being around for
Right.
an extended period of time, he was someone who just, his life was in disarray. I mean, not that my life is perfect, but like, maybe that's why I'm attracting people that are kind of in flux, because
Right.
I am, as an artist, and like financially trying to get stable and all of that. But it's been either dudes that like have no idea where they're going in life, might still live at home like he did, or like they're like they're just lost. They like to smoke weed a lot and get lost in that. No offense. I'm drinking. I mean, we all have our vices, but
Totally.
like it's been like a dude like really kind of lost, not knowing which direction he wants his life to go, or a guy who had just gotten out of a relationship and just wants to have fun,
Yeah.
or just wants to have fun, just wants to hook up and do something casual.
Right.
Yep.
See a lot of that.
And I mean, again, it could be what I'm attracting because of whatever place I'm in, but I don't know. Because there are people I know, a very small pool, a very, very small pool
Right.
of people who have met on the dating apps and who are very serious, have
Yeah.
gone on
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
married, who live together, etc. It's not like it's only that. For me personally, though, it's been people that are just, like I said, lost and don't really know like the direction their life is going. Or I just don't want to touch them when I meet them.
Right.
Or
So kind of like me with Jenna. I got you.
yeah, I can tell you guys are just so grossed out. No, but like, but more recently though, and which is so ironic because I'm getting old. I mean, I'm 37.
Aging like a fine wine.
Oh, thanks. Well,
Being connected on Facebook, I have seen pictures of young Lindsay, and you look the same. So
you flatter me.
Younger.
Probably
I think is the
matching
word
it.
you
Yeah.
meant.
Well, no, I'm not old, but I'm also
air
not-
quotes again.
I keep doing that. No one can see me.
No, we have cameras everywhere.
Good. I'm not old by any means, but I'm older than a lot of the people that I hang out with.
Yeah, same.
And I was recently much older than the last serious boyfriend I had.
What was the age yet?
10 years.
Oh, that's sizable.
Maybe that was part of the problem.
Not Michael.
Ooh.
Oh,
No,
okay.
not Michael. Michael was...
Did this person have its shit together? Yeah.
Does
see?
anybody? Does anybody?
Yes.
No.
Yes, people do have their shit together.
Jenna, yeah.
Jenna does.
I'm like, no, yes. I'm like, I was so...
No, I
split
mean,
just
I've
now.
met so many people who do. I just think they're harder to come by,
They could... Okay, it's
especially at
It's-
10
do you
years
have-
younger.
do you have your-
27, like that's young.
so young. Do you have your shit together in what terms, like financially? Are you loaded and you have a nice condo that you own a car, and you have a 401k, but you're emotionally a wreck? Or are you emotionally a wreck and have no money on it? Or are you like really healthy mentally and just don't make a lot of money? I mean, there's varying...
There's levels. Yeah, it's an equation.
There's varying levels, and it's how you define success. And it depends on what you want, though, too, as a person, what you're looking for,
Right.
and how you define success. So for me, it's not like actually, no, I would love to meet someone with a lot of money, but
Let's
and
be
I
serious.
hate to say that because I obviously am not only looking for that in a person. Hell no, but because of where I am in life and my career
Right.
field of choice or
Right.
whatever, what I'm pursuing is difficult to monetize.
Right.
And because I'm a creative person finding my way, it would be really nice if
To find a rich benefactor.
Yeah.
But it's one that was
mean,
like
anyone.
really good in bed and that made me laugh. And
So like a
was,
unicorn.
like a perfect person,
Totally.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I know that like a perfect person doesn't exist. And hey, I have dated people who don't have sheets on their bed. Okay. I'm not.
No,
I know.
absolutely
I'm just
not.
saying, like, I'm not, stuck up, but I'm also like laying there like,
You have
this
to
isn't
know what
I
you're worth and
want.
what you want.
So I actually have a piece of unsolicited advice if I can.
This is her sweet
It's
spot.
not
let me tell
just to
you.
you. It's going to be to.
This is how insufferable is this going to be right now?
It's going to be good.
I'm excited.
It's going to be good. Not just to you, but I'm sure to a lot of our listeners.
She's
who do the
wagging
same
her
thing.
finger as she speaks. She's literally like finger wagging right now.
When I said no sheets, you like went
Absolutely
white.
not. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely not. No, we are not 16 anymore. That is not something that should be happening in our
Cheers.
30s. Okay.
I know.
All right.
What if they have sheets on their
standards. We have to
windows
have
instead of
standards.
blinds or
No,
curtains?
not that either.
That's why he did.
Standards.
That's why he didn't have sheets on the bed because he also didn't
They
have
were hanging
curtains,
up.
and he
Yeah.
didn't want anyone.
One
to
or the other.
People were watching what was going on in that bed, so they needed to hang.
I get that.
Okay.
No, so you said something about like it feels like you like to rescue, right? You like to take home the rescue puppy, fix him up, right? Make him their best potential. I do the same exact thing. And a lot of women do it. I hear it all the time.
Right. It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. And my therapist, so you're welcome, guys. Just saved you a bunch of money. Gonna
I have
tell
one of
you
those
what she
too,
said.
though. Yeah.
Yeah. She basically said to me, she's like, here's the thing, Jenna. Everyone's got their shit.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't care. She's like, nobody's perfect. Everyone's messy.
Except me.
The issue is you have to find people who are fixing their mess. Right?
Working at it at least.
Work
in progress, yeah.
Right. She's like, you can date someone who's an alcoholic. I don't care as long as they're an AA and working to be a better person.
Right.
She's like, that's what you have to look for. You don't have to look for someone. I mean, I
So
will
if
draw
we
the
have any
lines that no
alcoholics-
sheets on the bed. But at the same time, like if someone doesn't have like, if they're not on their career track and they need a little help, right? Like that I'm okay with if they're willing to do the work to get to where they need to
Yeah.
be. So I think that was really good advice because I think it's unrealistic for us to say like, I want someone who's completely perfect and blah, blah,
I'm
blah,
not,
right?
Because I'm not at all.
I'm not either.
You know what I
Although
mean?
I like to think I am. But
And
I'm
no
not.
one is.
No, I'm not.
Your place is chic as fuck.
Thanks.
So, but no, I mean,
It's my biggest selling point.
I talked to my. I bet you have really good shampoo. Like
She's
that's another selling point.
I do. Good job.
It's the aha pooey stuff.
Yeah,
What?
I know a wapahui.
don't know
Whatever
what
it
that
is.
is.
Yeah.
A wapahui.
I don't know what that is. Tell me what it is.
Paul Mitchell does.
Paul
a
Mitchell.
wapahui.
Yeah, yeah.
Stop it.
Oh, I don't use that.
No, but I told. Speaking of therapy, I had shared with my therapist. I'm like, I live alone in a 1-bedroom apartment where I struggle to pay the rent, and I'm revealing a lot right now. But I'm in between jobs. I freelance. I'm doing
Transient sex gypsy or
yeah,
whatever you
all
said
of that.
earlier. Yeah.
I'm not that anymore. But I do comedy. I'm at bars doing stand up for no audience. Blah blah blah. Whatever. My life is unconventional to say the least. So who am I to expect someone to enter my life? And I'm not expecting some knight in shining armor. But
That doesn't mean it's not out there. You never know.
I
know.
also feel like there's a
But
caveat.
my thing was, how can I I don't know. How can I expect someone maybe with more more of their life established or a little more stable than where I am right now to enter my life to kind of balance it out.
Right.
And my therapist said, well, why can't you though? I mean, he point blank was like, of course you can
You can
want that
Yeah.
for your... I guess it's like, I want to equal the playing field. I don't want, because I don't know.
But I mean, who really has an equal playing field? Like, look at, I know the relationships I've been in, and I'm sure I'm just speaking for myself here, but maybe with you guys, I can't think of a single time where I've been with someone where it has been like an equal playing field.
You're right. And I remember, so this guy I dated, it's a loose term, but someone I chased and had a very severe, unhealthy interaction with for 2 years. He was making like I remember while we were still seeing each other together, whatever, he's like, yeah, they offered me $160 a year. And I'm like, wow, I could barely like make $60 at a server shift at that time. I'm like,
Right.
160. Wow, really? And I remember he owned his condo and like was making that much a year. And I just remember feeling like,
But how is the dick?
he's on. It was great.
Okay.
But
That's the most important
on
part.
a pedestal that I felt, and like my very first boyfriend, my very first serious boyfriend out of college, he owned a condo at 25. He was making, whatever for 25, a nice
A good
amount,
salary, yeah.
60 to 80 or whatever in that range, and had a car and and I just remember with both of those individuals feeling Plus, I was younger. I mean, this was like 24 and then 28 and feeling just really inadequate. And now it's like years later, I meet the Michael who I have to like put his resume together for him and almost hold his hand to get a job.
It's the circle of life.
And and then this other person who I've dated recently where I'm like, again, helping with a resume and cleaning his apartment. And like, I know. I'm just saying, like,
that's really funny.
It's like I
would never do that.
Jenna, you are such a pain in the ass.
I think it's hilarious.
I don't even clean my own fucking apartment. I'm not cleaning yours. That's not happening.
I'm just saying. Do you see how that dichotomy has
it's shifted? Yeah.
Well, and you had just mentioned part of what you had said is that due to what you perceive as some instability with your career and your creative endeavor, is that's why you would want someone that's more stable. And you had even said performing in front of like empty crowds or empty bars. So with that in mind, we know you actually have a show coming up this week in Chicago.
I do.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
So the show is called In Your Head Comedy. It's a stand-up showcase at Irish Oak, which is in Wrigleyville. Irish Oak. Yeah. It's going to be Thursday, March 5th at 8 o'clock. Okay. And we have, I'm hosting the event. I'm hosting the show.
You're delightful.
Thank you. And then there's going to be 7 comedians performing. And then it's a really cool twist on the show and approach to stand-up because we're doing a little bit of a sketch involvement where after each comedian, come on, can I say that word? Comedian. Each comedian performs, they do a little shtick. It's going to be improvised. They're going to have like a psychoanalytical roast done to them by another comedian who's playing a shrink.
I like it.
He is a brilliant improviser and comedian. He's so funny. Steve Gerrard, hilarious. He's going to be, but he approaches his comedy from a very real place where you don't know sometimes if he's kidding.
Right.
Like, do you have a wife and child that are locked up? Are you joking? Like, he's so funny. His approach is so unique and real.
Okay.
And he's going to be playing the shrink. So like again, Irish Oak, March 5th, 8 o'clock. It's called In Your Head Comedy. It's a fundraiser for my web series called Mid to Late.
Okay. I'm glad you brought that up. So when we first actually became friends on social media and I did my little like potential guest creeping.
Which he said, what did you say? You said, I've been watching for a while. I was like,
that's not creepy.
Which window?
I said it to be creepy for sure.
No, it was cute.
Yeah.
I was flattered.
But I did know about Mid to Late, your web series. I know I saw that you had been crowdfunding it, and I took a look at the page today, and as we were putting together the outline. And
I appreciate you doing that, by the way.
Of course. Why would we not do research when we have wonderful guests like you? So one thing that stuck out for me, the page for the project, it had this quote. The series story arch has been heavily inspired by my real life struggles with clinical depression and anxiety. As my 30s tick on and as my mental illness is treated but never eradicated, I'm faced with societal pressures, both overt and implicated, financial distress, and my ever-present and dwindling biological clock. So that sounds pretty heavy.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It's actually a comedy.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I wanted to get to. So even though it sounds heavy, it is a comedy. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about the project?
As I pour wine. So it's called Mid to Late, which is a reference to the main character's age. She's in her mid-30s. She's 35, or she's turning 35.
So is this ostensibly Lindsey 2 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, her behavior is Lindsey 5 years ago,
Got
6 years ago, but ostensibly, yes, it's inspired heavily by real life and my own emotions and approach to what I'm going through right now as an artist and a performer. So, obviously I have friends. I'm 37. I have friends who are well underway of making a family. I mean, I have friends who are on their 3rd, 4th kid.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. On the other side of the spectrum, I have friends who are still in college. So I have a broad spectrum of friends from all different ages. One of my closest friends is 60. Another close friend I've made this year is 55, and I chant with her and we're Buddhists together. Not Buddhists together. That sounds weird. But I have a wide range.
It's like the weirdest book club ever.
We're Buddhists together.
Yeah.
Like, what? Like we streak together. No, we chant together. But so my friend range goes from 20 to 60. But for me, like my own age is reflected heavily in people having a career for 10 plus years.
Right.
a husband and 3 kids, right?
So a lot of this is kind of from the perspective of feeling like underaccomplished and sort of not
inadequate,
measuring,
right?
Yeah, not measuring up. And I think that's not uncommon. People we see in today's society with how much we're on social media. I personally post my whole
I love
life.
that you're saying social media because her struggles and what she feels she lacks and where she feels inferior, all of those things, all that emotion, and all of that inferiority is compounded by her constant view of social media and her fixation with social media, not only because she's comparing her life to others, but because she's also trying to propel her career on social media.
Right, which is not an easy road to hoe.
So she's fixated on it. She has an unhealthy preoccupation with it, which a lot of people
What's
do.
that like?
Right? Yeah, you have no idea, right? No, but that definitely
He doesn't. He doesn't.
She's being sarcastic.
Oh, I was like,
That was a little funny. No, but Leanne is the main character, heavily inspired by my own life. She's turning 35. She struggles with where she's at in life and compared to other people her age, and then someone who's a very close friend of hers who's younger than her by a few years is married, has a baby. And I'm excited about it. It's just about feeling like you are not hitting the mark.
Right.
And all the things you feel like you're not achieving or you feel like you're behind on are accentuated, emphasized, and highlighted through social media.
I think that's so relatable. I know
totally.
from my personal experience, if you're not actively competitive, like myself, I don't look at other people's things and think, oh, I wish I had that. But I'm constantly trying to like put forward an image that is like cool and curated for the purposes of, again, the creative endeavor. Like we're trying to push this business and trying to push like my photography and whatever. So the part of the reason why we wanted to talk to you about that is I just think this is so relatable and it's such a common thing. So if people out there, if that's something that you can relate to, definitely keep on the lookout for this web series. How's your progress with it going? Like where are you in terms of funding?
We're still fundraising. So that's why the show is happening at Irish Oak. And then this could turn into an actual like monthly thing. We want to start, I've partnered with a with a director, and I call him my film guy, Kyle Leland. He's with Collapsia Film, and he and I, which was so cool because we met on Facebook. I put up a post about this and trying to scout someone to help out with filming and direction, and he responded and then loved the script. And now he and I become friends, and he's my partner in the whole thing now. I wrote it, but he's played a part in editing. He's played a part in fundraising. He's played a part in, all of it. So
question for you for the event on March 5th, do you guys have like, is it Eventbrite or can they buy tickets online?
Yes, there is a link, to an Eventbrite.
Okay, so we will...
Tickets online are $8, and it's going to be $10 at the door.
Okay, so guys, make sure you check out the show notes because we are going to include a link to both the Eventbrite to get tickets to go support Lindsey, and we'll also include a link to... Are you still doing the fundraising on Indiegogo as well?
Indiegogo has ended.
Okay.
So now, and those funds will be applied to production when we start... We're going to start production in May.
Okay,
that's
awesome.
Where, we're going to hold... Thanks. Yeah, we have to figure out... I'm going to bug some friends that live in high rises for their apartments. I need 2. Don't worry, I won't bug you.
I was like, you can film here.
This really isn't the aesthetic. No, I'm just kidding. I actually might want to use your kitchen.
My kitchen? You don't want to use my kitchen.
No, this place is sick. But we have to figure out where we're going to film.
Right.
Hold auditions. And it's a small cast. I have 3 episodes written. They're 5 to 6 minutes long each. So filming itself won't take more than a week.
Right.
But we have to get our ducks in a row as far as like where we're shooting, who's going to be in it besides myself.
Of course.
And so it's slated. Auditions are slated for April, production for May.
If there's any roles for tall men around your age, just let me know.
I might use you, actually. We'll talk.
Awesome.
We'll talk.
All right. Well, I'm super excited to see that come to fruition.
Thank
I know
you.
everyone's going to be looking forward to checking that out. We haven't done a mailbag in a while, Jenna.
I know, it's been forever.
I thought that would be cool. We've been getting a lot of questions on social media, a lot of stuff through emails. I did a couple Ask Me Anythings on Instagram to spur some questions. So we thought we would run through some listener questions, get everybody's takes on it.
Yep, I'm
do you
in.
think?
Let's do it.
Okay, we'll go round table. Instead of getting
Okay.
everyone's take and everything, we'll just do, we're going to start with the guest. You are in the seat of honor. So one of our listeners, Sarah, if you're listening, this is to you. She wants to know if it's ever okay to fake an orgasm. What do you think?
Oh man.
Bare your soul.
Sometimes I think I do it like unwillingly because I'm a performer, like involuntarily, just like, oh, it's time.
100%.
It's time. I'm getting
Daddy.
I'm getting the light, like
To wrap it up.
Totally.
It's like your
if
Oscar
this
speech.
is taking too long, I'm just gonna. Is it okay? I don't know if it's morally okay, but it definitely happens.
Right. I say
wait.
if they don't do a good job, don't let them think you did a good job.
Yeah, that's what I
I
say.
think you fake.
You don't get a
things.
medal.
I
This
think-
isn't a participation award thing.
No, but I think it depends on how close you are with the sexual partner.
I guess.
A one night stand, you're going to say that's
gets
not
to-
working.
He gets to. Why can't I? Right? You know he's
Fuck
going
yeah,
to come.
Jenna.
Like, it's not fair. I don't play that game.
She's a boss bitch over here,
I love
man.
it.
Yeah, I don't fuck around.
All right. So, Sarah, it is okay if that's what's going to get you
I don't
out of the
encourage
situation.
it because you want to be honest with your partner and you want to get out of the experience
Right.
what you need and what you deserve,
And if
which is an orgasm.
and as speaking as a guy, if I'm not doing it and I'm not giving you an orgasm, like tell me, let me know. Like,
Guys
help
are
me.
turned on more by you telling them what to do.
We want to
Everyone-
understand the female body, so
Yes.
help us out.
Here's the other part of that, right? Like what you said, I think could be really funny if like you were having a one night stand and it just wasn't working for you. And before he came, you were like, yeah, I'm good here. So like neither one of you get to do it.
You're like, you're not fulfilling
Yeah.
what this is all supposed to be
Yeah,
about.
this
I didn't have
isn't
you come
working.
over to like see my new rug.
Yeah.
I had you over to come, so that's not happening. So bye.
I want to tap out. Could you imagine?
Just tap
I think
out.
we should
I
do
love
that.
it. Yeah.
I
Okay.
love that.
So here's one for you, Jenna. How long should I put up with a guy texting me without asking me out,
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. So,
or as we call that, the pulling a TJ?
yeah. So I've learned lessons since I
how
met you.
long do you text?
Yeah. How long should I put up with a guy who's only texting me but has not asked me
Jenna,
out yet?
take this one.
Yeah,
boss.
I mean, I think
That's
only
why I
a couple,
asked her.
only a couple days, right? Like the
A
thing is,
week?
maybe
No.
I feel like a week is pushing it. You get maybe 3 to 5 days because here's what happens.
But what if I'm booked solid? Like if I'm dating, I might have like a week of dates planned.
So I'll tell you what you do because I do the same thing. This is what you do. You just say you're busy. I entertain for work, so I take out clients a lot, right?
But you just said I'm busy doesn't work. It's got to be a first week.
No. You're asking them
No.
out. You're asking them out. That wasn't your question.
Oh,
so
not the execution of said
even
date.
if it's a week
Right.
later.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what happens. Like I
Okay.
think you need to secure a date where you need to ask someone out
I like
within like
that.
3 days. But it doesn't have to be that week. You can say, I'm traveling. You may not really be traveling. Or like, I'm sick. You're not really sick.
No one needs to
Whatever
know what
may
you're
be.
exactly doing if you don't
Yeah.
even know each other yet.
Totally.
But if
Like,
you are courteous and you
make a date.
Fair.
Yeah.
like wait, real quick. I think this what we just talked about kind of taps into the whole approach, how men and women approach this whole thing differently. So a man might, and whatever, it's so binary, but a cis man might go about this like, it's too soon. We don't even know each other yet. I'm not like, whereas a woman I think is, I don't want to say eager or thirsty, but we're kind of like, all right, don't waste my time. Like,
Yeah.
like let's something on the books, like you said, even if it's a week out because
Yeah.
you're traveling, air quotes
Right.
again, or going on 15 more dates between now and Thursday, fine.
Yeah.
But if you show her or you show the other person that you're making an effort to meet them at least,
Totally.
There you go.
fine.
I mean.
It's not like
I feel like
entertain me via text for 10
that's
days.
it. And then
you know
that's
what
what
I mean?
happens. You can't allow that.
That's all I got for these hoes. I'm just kidding.
And
I didn't say
then-
that.
And then I feel the same way about when
JK.
you have a date. Like I don't believe in the waiting 3-day shit. Like fuck you. My favorite thing to do is like if someone, I just think like people need to be like real and genuine. And if you're not real and genuine, then I don't want to date you anyway. But like if you had a good time, you can't even weigh in on that one. If you had a good time on a date, I want you to text me later, like afterwards, and be like, I had a really great time. I'd like to see
Can
you
you
again.
text? Wait, this question is a burning one. Okay.
Okay.
Is burning as a yeast infection. I shouldn't have said that, but it really is. So after you meet a guy, you thrown by that.
I didn't get thrown by that.
Is it a rule?
I have a yeast infection right now.
Yogurt works. So is it?
I use Go-Gurts.
Is it?
Those will spray them out on there.
Shut up! You watched my clip.
No.
I fucking
What are you talking about? I'm
Shut
dead
up.
serious.
Anyway,
I did not see
okay,
that.
that's my bit. Anyway, that's my bit.
It's my bit now.
I'm gonna kill you. So after you hang out with someone and you go home and the date was fun, whatever. You want to see the person again.
Yeah.
Are you because I've been told from archaic friends, they're like, you can't text
Bullshit.
him first.
Yes,
Tell me
of
that
course
night.
you can.
Do you
No,
know
you
what I mean?
Because they
the
want
girl
to know
can,
as much
right?
as we want to know. They're just as insecure.
It's stupid.
No matter how they act.
No rule. So
You don't text him. He has to text you first. Like, what year is this?
Okay,
right?
This is actually a good segue. I'm going to do this next one. Jacqueline asks, how do I slide into a guy's DMs without seeming desperate?
But see, the
I think
fact
you
that
just-
she used the word desperate is sad, right?
And it because
how
you
women
would
talk.
yeah, and for me, I got to tell you, Jacqueline, as a guy, slide into DMs. I don't see any desperation with that.
Yeah.
at all.
Guys
Like,
love
Shoot your
attention.
shot. What's
Guys
the worst-
love attention.
What's the worst that can happen? You don't respond. Who cares?
Right.
Like it's
And if it's
a
the type
low
of guy
touch
who's
point.
like, "Oh, I'm turned off by a woman who like takes initiative," well, fuck that dude.
yeah, it's not your dude.
exactly.
Yeah. Give me one more.
Okay. Here's
I'm on fire.
Here's one. I'm going to give this. This is a dual question. This will be the last one.
okay.
But this is going to Jenna and Lindsay. I want to hear because I already know how Jenna feels about it, and I think she's wrong. So we'll see. Should I delete my Instagram photos with my ex?
No.
Thank you. I say the same thing.
No, right? Okay.
No.
If you do, which it's your life, do what you want. It's your social media. I feel like that's a 15-year-old move.
Right.
Agreed.
Done. I hate him. He's
Yep, it feels
you can't
spiteful.
erase him from your
No.
life. If you're doing that because it's going to help you move on, fine. But just don't look at those photos. It's back. They're old in your feed.
Yep.
And it was
I
a part
agree.
of your life.
That's what Jenna says, and I do kind of agree
Yep.
with it. But devil's advocate here, I know it's so common nowadays when people match on dating apps or they meet for the first time that they do
I already have a response, but go.
they do the deep dive. And so, newsflash peeps, I was married, and if you look hard enough, you will find photos of my ex-wife way deep down on my Facebook. And every woman I've ever gone on a date with,
Brings it up.
not because I tell people I was married, I'm like forthcoming about it, but they
Yeah.
always want to comment on having seen that.
But I
And
feel like
it's
then they're
who
showing
cares?
insecurity then.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
If a woman, okay, and we all do it. We all scope, we all dig, we all want to
Sure,
like,
but I don't
you
I'm
know,
the social
mention
media
it.
sniper. I'll fucking take you down.
but
You
if-
laugh, but
if-
it's serious. Be afraid.
I know you stalked me, but
Stalked.
I'm kidding. I know I don't feel special, but
I always feel
I
like
really don't.
somebody's watching me. Okay. That just happened. Ooh, that's she's giving me like sexy look.
Yeah, she did.
Ooh, damn,
Yeah.
girl. Mm.
Yeah.
that was misinterpreted. No, but if someone that you just met is threatened by your ex-wife from 2015 or whenever,
That person's fucking crazy.
Good guess on the time.
well, right? I don't know, but then that person is probably someone you shouldn't go out with, right?
Right.
So if
Lots of
someone's threatened, so
insecurities.
say I meet someone tomorrow, and he looks through my Instagram and he sees like one of two pictures I posted of my ex-boyfriend, who I broke up with in August, and he's bothered by that. I'm almost more weirded out by people who don't have pictures up with a significant other, because I'm
Agreed.
like, what? You're not human and date?
And
So-
how would people ever get to the
you know
pictures
what
of your
I'm saying?
significant others? There's so many pictures of your butt. Asking for a friend.
Oh.
Wow, shots fired.
That is a thing, right?
Am I talking
Yes.
me personally?
Absolutely.
I do not have that many of my butt.
There
do
are
I?
a few prominently
No,
posed
TJ, that's what
photos
you were
of your
just.
butt.
That's because that's all you were looking at.
Stop being such a dude.
I'm just saying.
I have like 3 pictures of my butt. Well, I go on vacations and I. Have,
What's your main picture? Is your main picture like
It's not my
what's your
butt.
Facebook picture?
Oh, I'm talking about Instagram.
I know, but what's your main Facebook picture?
My butt.
Okay, just checking.
Oh. Wait,
It's
I
not
have,
like my crack and like my cheeks.
No, but she's like on stage talking over her shoulder at the mic. Butt is like prominently placed.
Sorry if you noticed that.
How would you? That's what my point is. If you're looking in people's feeds, who cares? It's not that serious.
Yeah, I like my
My thing-
butt.
Here's my thing. If you don't see there's a couple reasons people. Well, I don't know. The biggest reason I think people delete or hide pictures is because they probably just broke up with someone and they're back out there in the dating world and like don't want people to see it.
If it's a picture, if it's a photo from like, if it's like one of your last 3 posts and you are on the, like say you broke up and you haven't posted a picture in a month and one of the last 3 photos is your ex-boyfriend or girlfriend and you're on a dating app. Yeah, I get that. But if it's 6 months back, why are you deleting that?
Like all
it's
of
a part
my
of your
shit's
life.
Totally.
Like,
it's a story. It tells the story of who you are. And isn't that the point of Instagram?
Exactly. I dated someone back in October, divorced, child. I dug until I found that ex-wife.
Oh, you've got to.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, right? So
yeah.
All right. Well, I think that we have a consensus. You guys brought me around on that issue, so I appreciate it.
Winner.
So where do you stand now?
I was very much in the you sure delete it. Like I definitely have wiped a lot off my social media.
I also think, aside from what we just said about like it being so recent, if you have to delete those moments that are like months behind you, that shows. I think that's indicative of you not healing proper, or
Probably.
you're not.
What if we archive them? I archive.
I don't know.
So they're there, but no one else can see them.
But like. I just feel like
same idea.
Do they anger you to see? Or are you just trying to hide something from someone you
trying to control the narrative?
Right. Don't
so
be phony.
Thing. So hide.
Don't be. So you're marketing. It's marketing, but you're a person. You're not a brand.
I'm both.
Oh, I'm sorry. Who are you talking
we
to?
are okay. Oh, Jesus Christ! I'm just saying, like Pepsi had to delete that commercial with Kendall Jenner. Do you have to delete your ex-girlfriend? I don't know.
No, but I do have to delete like 80% of the funniest things I say on this podcast.
That's true.
Anyway, okay.
One more quick one, just because this is funny, and we haven't had a question from a guy.
Dudes exist. I've been drinking this.
This is we're gonna do 2. So one person, Kelly, a woman, says, "Should I put my IG profile in my dating app profile?" So before we answer that, and then Derek says, "Should I tell my dates that I'm an Instagram influencer? Is that a turn on or a turn off?" So I have thoughts. Jenna makes fun of me constantly and to go because you're an influencer. Blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that. I have 913 followers. That is not influencer level. You do, but you do.
And I have no likes, so it's
fine. But I have strategically made friends with a lot of people who are, and I do it for the purposes of growing this podcast. With that said, if it's what works for you, like me personally, I post a lot on social media. I don't mind it. So if I'm going to be dating someone, they should probably be okay with that, because I've dated people who are very unokay with it.
Sure.
And then that creates a rift. So I think being forthright about like, I post a lot, or I have this like kind of public persona around this creative pursuit I do. I think if you do include it, you're kind of letting people know what's up. What do you think?
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I don't know. I don't date influencers, so I don't fucking know. But it wouldn't bother me. It wouldn't bother me. The thing is it's sort of like, to me, it's almost like the podcast, right? Like I have to be forthcoming about the podcast because men sometimes don't like it. They don't like the content. They don't like
really.
I'm a little brash, maybe. I don't know. I really don't know. Those people obviously aren't my people, but I feel like it's the same thing. It's like you got to be like real and like what you're getting into. If you're meeting someone who's an influencer, you're going to be taking all their fucking photos. You're going to become an Instagram husband.
But I think this all plays into the society we live in now, and the time of dating, the age of dating that we're in right now is so digital.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I'm going to include my Instagram handle on my Bumble profile because that's going to show more of like who I'm trying to be. It's like, let's show, it's photos of you and your friends, or photos of your, whatever your creative endeavor is. I do it. I post it. Fine. But I think it's one step closer to us becoming these bot people, these pod people, as opposed to let's just, we've created this precursor to dating with this digital entity that can be so misleading. Firm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it can be so misleading. We're judging so heavily. Like, okay, I matched with you and we were friends on Facebook. I'm not going to really know what you look like until I see you in person.
I look the same.
Yeah, but now I can hear your voice. I can see how it's different.
Right.
You can't see my butt right now, but it's the same, right?
It is. I saw when you sat down.
Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like,
I think there's something to be said about leaving a little mystery on a dating app because you want to hook someone in and then
Based on what though? Because all it is photos.
Well, based on the photos and the things that you say, depending on what the app is, right? But my thing is like I wouldn't link my Instagram on it because I want to leave a little bit of mystery.
Yes. I agree.
So I'm going to give this final.
No, counter it. Yeah.
So I put it in there always because there are many times that I match with people and then for whatever reason it expires. I don't get a chance to get around to like messaging back. And a lot of people have then messaged me on Instagram and been like, hey, it expired.
Oh, he's popular.
No, I don't mean that. No. I just mean like people would say like, hey, I don't know if you meant for it to expire, but if you want to chat, like,
damn, they're persistent.
They are.
Genesee, I show her it's bad. So don't, guys, my opinion as someone who is always on social media and always on the dating apps, put that shit in there. Who the fuck cares?
It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's no right
It's
or
a
wrong
personal
answer
preference.
for that.
No, exactly.
Yeah, whatever you feel good, do that. All right?
Yep.
All right. Well, this has been so much fun. And before we go, once again, thank you so much, Lindsey, for spending time talking to us. Before we go, why don't you remind everyone again where they can find you online, like your Instagram handle?
Okay. So it's linsasha, LINSASHA, which is a...
Be in the show notes as well.
Yeah. It's a collaboration of my first, middle, and last name. I'm not trying to be Beyonce. And also... Lindsey Shaw on Facebook. I don't do Twitter because I need to, and I'm off. I need to do it. And the show again, Irish Oak, March 5th at 8:00.
Okay, guys, check the show notes. March 5th, Irish Oak, and then be on the lookout for Mid to Late coming soon, starting to shoot in May.
Yeah.
We'll keep you guys informed.
Yeah, thank you.
And if you want to find out more about Menage-A-Pod, head on over to our Instagram at Menage-A-Podcast, where you'll find our link tree that includes link to our Facebook group, website, merch store, and more. You heard that.
Merch
Store.
Buy it.
Some shit. Do it. Finally, a quick thank you to everyone who makes this show happen. Jenna, my lovely co-host, my best friend ever.
Aww.
Fantastic guest like Lindsey. You were wonderful.
Thank you.
Me, of course. I fucking rock. And you guys, thanks for downloading and listening to the show. Until next time, share us in your IG stories and find other ways to tell a friend about Menage-A-Pod. And of course, good luck out there.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.